Quick record of an issue I had with our Subaru 2005. It's a H6 3 litre. The rear door wouldn't open from the inside or the outside after the really cold spell that we had in December. I need to get it fixed for the MOT because otherwise it would fail because the door won't open. Thinking the problem was to do with the locks. I got a second-hand lock mechanism from a scrap dealer on eBay. But when I'd managed to finally get the trim off, you can get the interior trim off without getting the door open. You do that by lowering the window. You take the top trim by the window trim off, and then you can actually lever the top of it over the rim and pull it off inside. It's fiddly, and unfortunately I didn't manage to break anything, but it is possible to do that. I then thought that was it, I could get inside, but as you can see, I don't know if this just applies to UK models, but the lock mechanisms are fully encased in metal sheets all screwed together, which you just cannot get to generally. This is obviously designed to stop people from stealing your car and breaking in, but it does mean it's a bit of a pain if you want to try and break in yourself. The answer, by drilling a second one and taking it to bits, I found was that by taking one screw out down there, I could get a screwdriver in that gap there and lift that little white plastic section there, which is the lock mechanism, lift it up just enough to get the door to unlock and open. It took a few goes, but I managed to do it eventually. Not brilliant, but I knew I had a spare one, so it didn't really matter. So I fitted this one from the scrap dealers. Put it all together, but before I shut the door and finish it all off and put the trim back in, I just thought I'd try it. And I fiddled around with all the different knobs, you know, try locking it, unlocking it, and it seized up again. It did exactly the same thing. I couldn't open it from the inside or the outside. I knew it wasn't a lock mechanism because I've changed it, or very unlikely that I'd have another broken lock mechanism. So that led me to look at the door handle, and the source of the whole problem was this. The bit that's got the copper grease around it now, it will now move quite freely. What it was doing, it was moving so far and it was sticking, and it wasn't returning like that under the spring load, and consequently it was pulling on the cable for the door handle cable, and that was confusing the lock mechanism. It was almost as if it was trying to lock and unlock with the door handle pulled tightly open, and it wouldn't have it. So if anybody's got a similar problem, this is the source of the problem, or could be the source of the problem. I've looked on several forums, YouTube, you name it. I couldn't find anybody else who's got the same issue. The simple thing to check is if your door handle is very stiff and you have to pull it right up to open the door, you've probably got the same sort of problem that I've had here. So it's a lot easier to take it apart while you can still open the door. Take this handle off, grease it up, free it off with a bit of WD-40 or whatever I used, and should be okay.